Everything was voluntary basis. Everything. Zero budget.
That's crazy. Like, it just keeps, the more I find out, the more I learn about this, the more I realize how...
And in a way, I was very clever, if you allow me, because I convinced the Romanian people to fight for their dignity, not for the money. And with this, the system was changed.
And your campaign manager's office or house was raided 2 days ago?
Yeah, raided by police. Yeah.
And even here in your friend's house, there were police at the door not long ago.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, and with this, we clarify that this doesn't exist in democracy. It was absolutely a shock, violence, which we find.
I know Romania. As I said earlier, I've been to Bucharest. I have a team in Bucharest and Cluj for one of my companies. And I've always...
What we know people. With this situation, we expose the corruption. You understand my point? So let me put very clear this. So they canceled the election, the second round of the election was cancelled illegally and unconstitutionally, the second round on December 6th, correct? By chance, the situation was fast that nobody can understand how. We didn't realize for the moment because it was a shock for everybody. But after that, I realized that it's quite fine because during the time after the December 6th, the corruption was exposed. And we arrived on the table a lot of things which we didn't believe before that can be possible.
It's similar with President Trump. When they started targeting President Trump, all it did was expose the law firm.
Everything was exposed like that. Exactly.
Well, here's to another level. I spoke to I even wrote it as a quote, one of my team members here in Romania before my interview with Simeon. And he said, Mario, they've been telling us, he said the following, they've been telling us for 35 years we're living in democracy, but now we see everything is fake.
Yeah, exactly this I said. Exactly like that I said. So the corruption was exposed, correct? Everything was a fake. In fact, it was not anymore. It was nothing. Because otherwise you can realize that the democracy is running. So justice doesn't exist. Police doesn't exist. The judges are puppets. We find. So it's absolutely, and I can guarantee to you that is a moment for the people to understand, and this I shall do for sure, to depoliticize the justice system and the secret services. For sure, I shall do that, because the political parties and the political in general is so deep involved in all the things, they destroy the country. So first, I wish to be the president of peace, exactly as I said many times. And second, to depoliticize the justice system, okay, and the secret services, for sure. The problem here in Romania is that the political things in general, the politicians, they politicize everything. Even the driver, the housekeeper,
that's even further celeste. Yeah. So just to kind of kick off the conversation, what happened in Romania is, from what I understand, I should be addressing you right now as Mr. President, and you should be in the White House version, whatever you have here in Parliament in Romania. That's what should be happening right now. But instead, when we spoke off camera, I'm like, I want to, deep down, I want to address you as Mr. President because I think it's the right thing to do. But to be honest, we're worried to even say those words, considering how, the entire legal system is being politicized against you and me doing this interview. I'm worried as well. So can you maybe give us an overview of what really happened in Romania? Why aren't you the president right now?
Because simply the politicians, the political, let's say, frame, they're afraid to lose the power.
And they essentially canceled the election.
And they canceled for the election, simply like that. I mean, it's exactly this was happened. And for this reason, I said that definitely I shall depoliticize the justice system and the secret services, because they didn't believe that they can lose the power. And the greed as well is huge, more than the fear. So because it's more than the fear, they act illegally.
They don't want to lose the amount of control, potentially the wealth that they have.
Everything is related to his money.
We're going to dig into that and who's really calling the shots. That's probably the big question that I have. We'll get to that later. So to kind of give an overview to the audience, and you can correct me if I get anything wrong, but you were essentially not expected to get more than 5% of the votes. Remind me of Trump in 2016. Nobody expected Trump to win.
Yeah.
And then no one expected, even more extreme than Trump, I think they didn't expect you to get more than 5% of the votes.
It's true.
So then you got 23%. You were the first. And then number 2 was, I think, Simeon at 20% of the votes, correct?
Correct.
Which is a common friend. So here you are as a candidate that no one thought would achieve anything. And you said it was all self-funded as well. Grassroots movement.
Grassroots movement, again.
And out of nowhere, you're in the lead for round 1. And then day 1 of round 2, which is on December 6th last year.
We started.
As soon as it started,
yeah.
I think 50,000 votes were counted.
Almost, yeah.
And the majority were
70%.
70% were freed. And when that happened, on that same day, they canceled the elections and used the Russian card.
The election, yeah.
And they called you a Russian puppet. Someone that doesn't speak, I was just spoken to your friend. You don't speak Russian, you speak English, you spent time in the US, you speak German as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, German, English,
French,
Romanian, and they choose you're a Russian puppet, which is like one of my team members said, it's like when all else fails, blame Russia.
But look, yeah, exactly. When you want to find something, you accuse Russia, and you are part of the system. But the point is that all the accused and all the damage made for President Trump, it's the same. They're the same story. Just they change the name Trump with Georgescu.
Exactly.
They say exactly the same.
No, they've done worse. Mr. Georgescu, they've done worse.
Yeah?
With Trump, they've painted it in a certain way, and they've used lawfare, but they didn't cancel an election.
All right.
That's why I still have hope in the U.S. political system and in the U.S. democracy. With you, they made it much worse. And I even have a comparison here. How does Trump compare to Georgescu? Trump, Russia hacked the election. Georgescu, Russia boosted his social media. Trump, non-stop media hysteria, FBI investigation, and a special counsel probe, all with no evidence. Georgescu, instant media narrative. All the media said the same thing. Intelligence reports. And an election just completely erased. That's exactly. It's a lot worse.
Exactly.
But I want to go back to who made that decision. Technically, you've got, I think, 9 constitutional judges. 9 judges, plus 1, the former president, Iohannis. So 10 people decide for 9 million. Like that. Just simply like that. And so they voted, hold on, didn't your rival Elena said the same thing? She was also critical of the allegations. She's your rival, is that true?
Yes, exactly. And also she, Madame Nasconi, and the former President Băsescu, they recognized a few days ago that was a political intervention.
They said it openly?
Exactly, openly, yeah, about the political intervention. In fact, we know very well that was all the Romanian people are aware that was a coup d'etat ordered from abroad and implemented here by the oligarchy system.
Let's dig into that. You're going right into it. When you say ordered from abroad, Romania is a massive democracy, 20 million people.
Ordered from abroad does mean, first of all, the Biden administration. We know very well. And also it's absolutely official that Blinken from Biden administration was involved here. Also, European Union was involved in this process in order to stop and to cancel the elections. So everybody knows that. It's not something which I give it to you.
Yeah, Blinken, there's a quote from Blinken.
Exactly. So it's just a matter of fact that they are related here with financial system and all this corruption which is here. And of course, they have seen in me the person who can stop all their building.
Yeah, so Blinken was one of the first ones to publicly say that there's Russian interference. Yeah. So that's someone that has nothing to do with Romanian politics.
Of course, it's nothing to do with that. But the point is not only that. The point is that was absolutely an intervention from them, and everybody knows about that.
She says Blinken calls the Russian efforts as, quote, large in scale and well-funded.
Exactly.
Why is Blinken saying that? That's the first question. If you talk about election interference,
the most important is that the Romanian people they realize We realize, in fact, all of us, that
the system's corrupt.
exactly the system.
It's not really. It's not. Democracy is becoming an illusion.
Exactly, and it's an illusion related to what was happening all this time, because even that was just a milestone basis of democracy. Something can be changed.
They cancelled an election. Like, this is the worst it could be.
And nobody make any intervention. You have to understand this. Nobody with any intervention.
Nobody, as in no one from the EU.
Exactly.
But one would say the EU had a role to play in this. You have Thierry. Thierry said, former EU.
Yeah. This hero already he discovered, in fact, the puppets movement in EU. Correct?
Yeah. So he said, we've got the quote here, but essentially says, "We've done it in Romania. We may need to do it in Germany."
Also in Germany as well. Yeah. Which in fact,
he was referring to Elon's election interference, which Elon is just posting his opinion online.
Exactly.
That's called election interference. But when Soros funds certain efforts,
look, the Soros network in Romania will be banned for sure, because did a lot of damage for my country, for my people.
When you're president, you'll be banning?
In the first minute. It's very important, because all these ideas are the same. My program, food, water, and energy. You have seen the presentation of not only President Trump, but also of the Secretary of State Kennedy, regarding the agriculture, regarding food for our children, in order to be not
to make America healthy again.
Make healthy America again. Exactly this I said about Romania. Make Romania healthy again. Make safe again. How? With food, with water, with energy. Why I have to import the energy or other things instead to have here? So it's totally nonsense. I mean, Romania right now, 90% of the food is imported, which is not only crazy, it's an attack, not only to democracy, it's a corruption, it's an attack to the economy, to import 90% a country which can produce for whole the Europe, everything.
Mr. Georgescu, that segment here, I don't know how anyone could listen to this and call you pro-Russian. You're sitting there talking about how the US fight for freedom is something you want to emulate here in Romania, and they call you a pro-Russian candidate. I just don't understand. For any Romanian listening to this, there's no one that can believe it.
Okay, of course it's a fake, but you have seen also the situation with President Trump before. The same situation was pro-Russia. This was a Russian intervention. It's the same thing. There are small guys which they have nothing to.
I think the media is just dying. I know what
it's legacy media. It's in a position just to explore only this channel. Everything you are doing against the system, you are pro-Russian.
But obviously, based on the poll numbers, even before the cancelling of the election, people are waking up.
In the moment when you are fighting for the democracy, for the freedom, you are a Partea. And the Partea does mean that you are pro-Russian. I am first of all pro-Romanian. And because you are pro-Romanian, you are Partea. You are immediately you are pro-Russian.
And any pariahs labeled as pro-Russia.
Exactly, this is the point.
And in 2016, we saw the entire media conglomerate target Trump. And then we're seeing the same thing here in Romania.
Yeah, it's absolutely the same situation which we face today.
And they always like to use the word disinformation. That's like the code word.
Exactly.
Anything we don't like.
In the moment when you don't like this, they are starting the disinformation.
Yeah. Whenever I hear the word disinformation, I just get chills now. I know what it means.
Yeah. It's exactly the same story.
The question I have for you is, I wanted to ask you earlier, is who decides those things? So you have 9 judges, and constitutional judges. Who calls them? Who messages them? And says, I want you to do this.
The politicians, the Secret Service politicians, I said that I'm totally devoted to depoliticize justice system and the secret services as well. So are only the politicians, exactly as I said to you, and also this Soros network. Soros again, it's
that much info. So you think Soros network came up? They could have. Like, who comes up with the idea? Let's cancel an election. Like, I'm sure there's somebody who's like, all right, what can we do to make sure Georgescu is not president? Let's cancel the election. Who do you think has those conversations behind the scenes?
So first of all, was the as I said, was the international intervention, Blinken European Union, related with the former president and the secret services here, and they decide to to go to the court and to decide.
So you think the US might have played a role? Is it so? Who would you point the finger more
You
at?
have to understand that, well, I cannot say because I have no disinformation, but for sure, which is already is public, as we spoke already, Blinken made an intervention.
Very public about it as well.
Because there are a huge interest. We are talking about money here. We are talking about power. So they don't want to lose this power.
And when you mentioned a few times how the
Because I said the power, this was I said in my campaign, the power is for people. And I said very clearly, myself as president, I serve my nation. I am the employee of my people, not vice versa, which is today. So this does mean the real democracy. And I find that this also in my first stage, which I made in 1992, 93 in the United States. And I find the goals of Thomas Jefferson, in fact, the father of the democracy in the United States, which said this. I mean, this is very important for the people to understand. Of course, the corruption was exposed these days, but we have to fight for our democracy. And we find also that with this situation which is today, I'm looking forward for this real partnership with the United States, with President Trump and Vice President Vance, and to understand that we are here, first of all, as a country in a very well located, it's a very rich country with a Black Sea, which is a fantastic value, which in this area, with a lot of resources. I find, I have seen, of course, different stories and relationship with Hungary, with all the respect. Romania is 100 times much rich than Hungary beside the position. And I'm looking for a real partnership. In a sense, the east flank, exactly as is in the area of Israel, the relationship with Israel, the same. I'm looking at the same situation, but for the east flank in Europe. So I'm looking for a very strong and valuable position with our partner in the United States in a very decent and very democratic point. The most important is to have the respect for each other, but before to have that, you have to respect your people. And this I'm looking for. For this reason, we are fighting. We know very well that we shall win, and all these guys, already they lost. They don't know yet, but they will fight.
I think it's a very good point. I think they already lost. And just want to remind anyone listening that just what you're saying is like the complete opposite of what anyone that's pro-Russia would say.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, I smile when they have this criticize addressed to me, because first of all, I know the truth, and the truth is like the oil in the water. I mean,
the truth always wins.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot.
Why are people not on the streets right now? Do you think that I don't think people in Romania will remain quiet?
No, they are permanently. I'm telling you. I mean, it's very soon will be another. The people they are coming again. Permanently, they were on the street. Permanently, non-stop. I mean, it's like a volcano. I mean, the people, they realize that this is a moment, and they don't give up. We don't give up. And we know very well, even it looks now harder or very complicated situation, I'm sure about that the situation will be changed, and we shall win. We are the winner. We are the winner already. The Romanian people is the winner. It's a fantastic, it's a great people, and I'm looking for Romania to be great again, to be beautiful, to be an harmony here. And all the people, they are looking for that. We are looking for the change the system, not the people. The system, not the people.
I always look at that as well. It's very systemic, the corruption and misaligned incentives. Your friend, I was speaking to your friend earlier, and he said that their strategy right now is to, the same 9 judges determine who can run for president.
Yeah.
So is it true that their strategy right now is to try to prevent you from running for president? Is that what they're trying to do? And they're trying to either find information or frame something to be able to use it to prevent you from running for?
Yes, they are looking for that. We are aware about that, but no chance.
I don't think. And he said to me, if that happens, that will be the spark where just Romania will go. He said, I'm going to paraphrase, like everyone will just go on the streets, I assume.
Yeah, it is a situation like this. So for this reason, I'm sure that we have to find the best way in order to not happen such as things, because for sure the people, they cannot resist anymore if something will happen in this direction. They are aware also about that, I'm telling you. The most important point is that we have the victory in our mind, in our heart,